Welcome. We're going to be taking you on a tour today of the Kwok Center, Kwok Engineering Center at St. Paul's School. This is our makerspace for our engineering courses. We'll be heading into the room shortly to kind of give you a brief tour of our lab.
Okay. I'm zooming in on the hovercraft out here. All right. Using leaf blowers, spring project. Here we go. Kwok Lab. Zoom in on this just got put in. Kwok Engineering Center.
And as we scan around the room, you'll see this is the main portion of our lab. This is where a lot of the work gets done. We do a lot of bench work here, whether it's programming, assembling. We have a variety of stations that include a soldering area, wiring area. We also use this room for our first robotics team that we compete with every year. So sometime during the year, you'll see a lot of kids working in here in the evening and in the afternoon with adult supervision. Some of the unique things about this lab, all the tables are on casters so that they can roll around and we can change the configuration of the room. We have these group work tables that are assigned to work groups that have color-coded tools for the students to use. It also helps us put everything back where it needs to be when they're done working with them. We have 8 laptop computers that are available for the students to use, and we have 4 high-speed desktop computers for work as well. And we use those computers for programming as well as our CAD software and so forth. So we use Autodesk Inventor so the kids that don't have their own computers can come in and use these computers. Or if they're running a different operating system, such as a Mac, some of our software isn't compatible with Macs at this point. As we walk around the room, you'll notice that each work table has an outlet strip on it to make it a little more convenient for the students as they're working. We don't have to run a bunch of extension cords, and those come in real handy. And we also have up above electrical reels and air reels, so we have air to all the workstations as well for running pneumatic tools, and if we're working on different parts of the robot that might require air as well.
I didn't talk about the teacher.
We have a TV monitor screen up here that we use for showing presentations, movies, and also if we're looking at things on the internet that we want to share with the class, we can do it right up here. And we have a pretty decent sound system, so on a long class period while the kids are working, we can play some music in the background for them, kind of fill the space a little bit. One of our key tools that we utilize in here in the design process is our 3D printer. This is Dimension Uniprint, and it prints models in ABS plastic. As you can see, we have some samples over here. These are just some design concepts students were working on. We had a group of students that were also working on large format scanning using a Kinect controller and some software that they can integrate the Kinect controller to use it as a scanner. We have 2 manufacturing or modeling areas. And I'll open the door. We keep these areas locked unless there is an adult here supervising. Why don't you walk in? And this is our wood lab. And in here we can do some basic modeling. It's not set up to like create furniture. It's set up to help us do design models. Also to work on parts of our robots as we're constructing, particularly our first robot. One of the nice tools that we have in here is a saw stop. This saw, if your finger gets within a certain distance of the blade will actually, there's a piece of aluminum that jams up into the blade, and the blade drops in a very short amount of time so that you don't get cut. You might end up with a little nick on your finger, but that's about it. Not only is it a nice, safe tool, and it's got that safety feature, but it's a really nice table saw as well. It's well built. And we have a power miter box, a drill press, and a bandsaw, and a small sander. This room is great for teaching kids how to use machinery. Woodworking tools tend to be a little bit easier to teach kids how to use the machine tools, which we'll go into our machine lab in a minute and show you that as well. This room is also equipped with air so that we can power pneumatic tools, but we also kind of use the air to help keep the place clean. We have a little blower. It's worked out quite well for us.
Into the machine shop.
This is our machine shop, or our machine lab, and in here we have several machines that we use for metal fabrication and machining. We have an old South Bend lathe, which is an awesome lathe. I love these old lathes. We do turning, and we can do boring, and a number of different functions on this. We also have a small milling machine that we use, a manual milling machine.
Mm-hmm.
And we just kind of salvaged this CNC milling machine. It was something that was going to get thrown out from someplace, and I salvaged it, and the student and I worked on it this year as part of her class to get this up and running, and we do have it up and running now, which is kind of nice. We're still working on getting some programming for it and so forth, but the students can manually program, which is called G code or machine code.
Yep.
We have a horizontal bandsaw, and this is used for cutting off metal stock and some plastic stock. And we have an old CNC lathe that'll be another student project to see if we can get going. Kind of interesting. You notice we're just using it as storage right now for one of our copters the students have built in one of our classes.
There's another copter down here we're working on.
And I don't know, somebody keeps leaving this hockey game around someplace. I don't know, it's a pretty, it has some important things like that in the lab. We also keep all our tools locked up in here because when there's no adult supervising, we don't want students using any power tools. So we have the majority, actually all our power tools now are locked up in one of these two rooms so that when we're not here, students don't have access to those tools.
Okay.
This is our whiteboard planning area, and as you can notice, these go from floor to ceiling. So we have a little stair here that we can use in order to reach the top. These also act as doors for our storage closet for our VEX components, and it gives us an area for charging batteries for our VEX and also our power tools as well.
Mm-hmm.
It comes in really handy because it is so high that when we're working on our first robot and we need to know some distances, we can actually lay stuff out here on these boards and replicate in some manner some of the tasks that we need to do on the first field. We also have an extensive storage area here for nuts, bolts, screws, robotic parts, and miscellaneous parts. This is nice and handy to have this all readily available. It also makes it a little bit easier for us to inventory and put stuff away when we're all done. And this is a big help. I've never had this before. This is one great feature.
This is what we graduated to from just having rolling carts full of bins of the little VEX parts we needed.
So we're going to take a walk down the hallway.
Here's our laptops and their charging stations.
Our little office area.
Storage here.
And storage, like every place, is an issue. It's an issue with us. And as we work through the year on projects, we end up having to store more and more, find places to put things. You can never have enough storage. So if someday you decide that you're going to have your own maker space, make sure you plan plenty of storage. You can never have enough. We have a kind of a lab sink area. This is the washer for our 3D printer. There's two materials that get printed. One is a support material, one is the actual model material. You need to get rid of the support material. Some of it you can break off, but some of it needs to be washed out. This is a solution bath, and it cleans off the support material. We also have a spray booth in here. This is used for painting, finishing. If we're using adhesives that are spray adhesives that have fumes, we do that in here as well. It's also has explosion-proof fans.
Yeah, Garmat.
And we have an emergency eye wash station and shower here, so that if there's students get some chemical or something in their eyes or on their skin, and we can take them over here and give them a shower. That gives you a general idea of our maker space. There are other spaces on campus. that we want to take our makerspace and make it a maker community. There's a complete wood shop with a thickness planer and everything that you need to build furniture in the art department. And there's also a welding shop in the art department, and there's also another wood shop and small welding lab for drama and theater. The idea would be is this is a makerspace, but we want to be a maker community at St. Paul's.